I'm Dr. Rory Onley. I'm the owner at Complete Chiropractic in South Australia, Adelaide. Before Nitro, look, life was okay. Well, it wasn't average, it was okay. I have 3 kids, family life was busy. Work, I was in a practice by myself. Practice seemed to be, I had to do everything. I had a couple of awesome CAs, but I was still controlling everything and running everything. So a lot of it fell on me, and I wanted this growth, or I wanted it to become easier, so I'd enjoyed it more. So that was probably the biggest thing before joining Nitro, that I knew something had to change. I just couldn't keep doing what I was going to do. The stress levels were high. Every decision was sort of riding the ups and downs. There was good weeks, there was quiet weeks. It sort of took a fair bit out mentally, draining. You're always looking for the next thing to make sure it was going to be better. Was I doing the right thing? There was a lot of questioning, self-doubt, because it was basically sitting on your shoulders. You had to do everything. It was probably mid-2018. I sort of went, look, there has to be maybe a better way, or surely this can't be what I'm going to do for the next 20, 30 years. So I know Lawrence put out a bit of a program just to try and get some growth into the business. So that's when I jumped on and did a bit of a workshop with him. And sort of just what he's saying made sort of sense and sort of showed me there could be a better way. So that's when I went to my first Nitro in Queenstown. And yeah, walking out of that was sort of, great. It was a bit more of a clearer picture or direction of what I needed to change to make my life better and make my practice better. If my practice is better, my life is going to be better. That's probably the biggest connection. I'd had other coaching before. I'd had coaching for probably a couple of years. And they were working on different things, procedural stuff in the back house. But where I found Nitro was probably different was it was a community-based sort of thing. We sort of got together with other chiropractors at these Nitro events. There's a bit more online presence. You could talk to people and probably get their perspective as well. So it does work like a bit of a family, a bit of a community. There's been many conversations with my wife, and it's come from her sometimes saying, maybe just go work for someone else, sell the practice. Just be an associate, it'd be a hell of a lot easier. So yeah, it's not giving up on the profession, but making maybe my life easier just instead of running my own practice. Do I feel like that now? No. I feel like I'm probably more in control now, and I'm heading towards a bigger picture that I want. And I've made some big changes in the last year since being with Nitro. In terms of getting rid of team members that weren't maybe the best thing for my practice, and probably the confidence or belief in myself and what I was doing, that it's going to be okay to make these bigger decisions and heading in a better direction. I've got a practice manager now, an associate on, and business is still, it's growing and things are still busy, but I can tell the busyness is in a better direction. We're doing things that are going to make my life freer in the next 6 months to a year, easy. I think the low point in my journey, this is probably more a personal thing where my mother passed away 5 years ago, and wrapped up in my head was a whole heap of fear of failing and not and letting parents down and things like that. So there was a point after she passed away where there was a good year of probably feeling pretty average. And it was, she understood that I was doing well and she was proud of me, but it was sort of wrapped up emotionally into that. That was probably the lowest point in my life, but practice was just plugging it along. I said it wasn't enjoyable, life wasn't enjoyable, I was just doing the basics, getting through. So I'd sort of pulled myself out of that a little bit, but sort of still thought there was better places to go. So I'd seen Lawrence around a lot on the video, whether it was wellness guys, whether it was stuff on Facebook. And I'd sort of seen him over years in a few talks and thought, oh, that's not for me, that's not what I need. And yeah, it was 2018, so about 18 months, probably just over 12 months ago, that we did a workshop or an online workshop together. And when this stuff sort of makes sense, maybe I've got the wrong image of this person. He's actually, he speaks with integrity. He's trying to physically, mentally help you get to where you want to be. I went to Queenstown Nitro, the first Nitro event. I wasn't actually probably technically I was just come into Nitro when I went to that first event in Queenstown. So I was still new to it. It was a really weird experience coming in, and there was chiropractors and staff members openly sharing what their wins were, their troubles, their problems, and then people were helping them work it out. there was planning for years and next year to come. It was all very structured and well organised. So it was quite a refreshing experience to come in and speak to chiros who were talking about what their issues were, and then dealing with their stuff and helping them, and which in turn helps yourself. I think it's a constant journey. Like, I still don't think I'm finished, and I'm not at a final point yet. I feel like there's still, where do I want to go in the future? I don't maybe have the clearest vision set out yet, and that's probably given me time to think of a vision. In the past it was just literally plug along, do day by day, get to the next weekend, next month, next holiday, just tick away. We're now having a little bit more freedom. I can go, what do I actually want to achieve here in the profession, me as a person, and our practice. How do we want to leave a legacy almost? Life is different in terms of I don't react to things that happen anymore like an instant freak out. I feel like things are a lot more under control. There's systems in place, there's ways to deal with things. I have an associate, I have a practice manager, so things for me are more comfortable. I've got weekends back, I've got time with my family, my kids, my wife. So it's sort of all moving in the right direction, I feel. My staff have probably noticed a difference. So, staff have noticed there's probably more direction. What we're now trying to achieve is clearer to them. It's not just me running the ship and running around like a headless chicken. It's actually, we've got somewhere to go. So that's probably a big thing. If you're at a point where you want some change in your life, or you sort of feel like there's something better for it, go try something. Whether it's this, whether it's something else, make a change and do something. You'll sit there and just keep living in your own little bubble. It's a great environment, great community, and I couldn't recommend it highly enough, so go for it.